All right, so you want to dive into the 1951 A Christmas Carol.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. We've got the script here, and it's making a pretty bold claim.
Right.
It's saying that this 1951 version isn't just a version of A Christmas Carol,
Okay.
but the definitive take on Dickens's classic.
Wow.
So I'm really curious to dig into this with you, see if it actually lives up to all the hype.
But what's fascinating is you can't really look at this film without considering the time it came out.
Okay, so like historical context.
Exactly. So picture 1951 Britain.
Right.
World War II's over. Rationing's finally ending. There's this feeling of, like, rebuilding hope in the air.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And cinema was booming back then, so this adaptation, it kind of landed right in the sweet spot, you know?
Almost like it captured the feeling of the time.
Yeah, almost like it captured the zeitgeist.
I like that word.
It's a good one.
So, okay, the timing was perfect.
It really was.
But the script goes even further, saying this film didn't just, like, ride the wave. It actually shaped how we see Christmas on screen.
Oh, interesting.
What makes them say that?
Well, think about those holiday TV marathons, you know?
Oh, yeah, wall-to-wall Christmas movie?
Exactly. It's a tradition now, right? But this film, it was one of the first to really nail that formula, setting the template for how to bring that holiday cheer to the big screen.
So you're saying it's like the granddaddy of all those cheesy Christmas rom-coms?
Maybe. But in all seriousness, it really did set a precedent.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's get into the specifics.
Sure.
So script keeps mentioning Alastair Sim's performance as Scrooge.
Right.
What makes it so special? What's all the fuss about?
Sim, he just brings this incredible balance to the character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's absolutely repulsive at times, don't get me wrong, but then you see these flashes of vulnerability, even humor, that make him oddly relatable.
Interesting.
It's definitely different from some Scrooges who are just like one-dimensional villains.
You know, I always pictured Scrooge as this, like, cartoonishly evil miser.
I could see that.
But maybe that's just the later adaptations I'm used to.
Could be.
The script even mentions that Sim's performance actually informed almost every Scrooge that came after him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that really true?
It's pretty clear when you look at it.
Okay.
You can see traces of Sim's mannerisms, how he delivers his lines, even his physicality in actors like George C. Scott, Michael Caine, all of them.
So it's like he established the blueprint for playing a believable, complex Scrooge.
Exactly.
Okay, you've got me intrigued.
Yeah.
But it can't all be about Sim, right?
Of course not.
What else makes this adaptation stand out?
Well, for one, the cinematography is incredible.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They use these amazing shadow effects.
Oh, cool.
Especially with the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come.
Spooky.
There's this one scene where Scrooge sees his own grave. And the way they use shadows to, like, engulf him.
Yeah.
It's genuinely chilling. It's visually stunning. And it really adds to the drama.
Ooh, I love it when movies use visuals to tell the story.
Me too.
The script also mentions that this adaptation delves deeper into Scrooge's backstory
That's right.
than other adaptations.
They do.
Did they just add, like, extra scenes or what?
They use this clever combination of dialogue and flashbacks.
Okay.
So we see young Scrooge, his lost love, the moments that made him so bitter.
Interesting.
But it doesn't feel forced at all.
Right.
It's woven into the story naturally, so we understand his transformation much better.
So it's not just telling us Scrooge changed, it's showing us WHY he changed.
Exactly.
That's really smart.
And by giving us that emotional context,
Yeah.
the film makes his redemption feel earned and believable, not just some sudden change of heart.
That's a good point. So we've got the perfect historical moment, this groundbreaking performance by Sim, and some really clever storytelling techniques.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
It's starting to feel like this adaptation might actually deserve that definitive title.
It very well might.
But I'm curious, did the director have anything to do with all this success?
Absolutely. Brian Desmond Hurst. He had a really unique background.
Okay.
He was a veteran, known for his war films.
What? A war film director did this?
Yeah.
That's so unexpected.
It is.
I'm picturing, like, explosions and battle scenes mixed with Christmas Carol.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Think about it. War stories.
Yeah.
They're often about loss, sacrifice, and ultimately hope. And those themes, they resonate in A Christmas Carol, too.
Yeah, I guess they do.
So Hurst's experience probably helped him bring this real emotional depth to the film.
That's fascinating. I never would have made that connection.
It's pretty cool when you think about it.
Yeah, and it makes me appreciate how much thought and talent went into making this adaptation.
Oh, definitely.
It's clearly more than just a holiday flick.
Way more.
It's a carefully crafted piece of cinema, and that's probably why it still resonates with people even today.
Absolutely.
But I want to talk more about Sim's performance.
Okay, yeah.
There's been a lot of debate about whether his Scrooge is too comedic.
Oh, interesting.
Does the humor take away from the darker themes of the story,
Mm.
or does it actually add something unique?
It's a great question, and some critics, they do argue that Sim's humor makes Scrooge a little too likable,
Yeah.
like right from the beginning.
Interesting.
But I think it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Remember, the whole story hinges on Scrooge's redemption.
True.
If he starts out as pure evil, well, then that transformation doesn't feel as believable, does it?
I guess not.
So those comedic touches,
Yeah.
they kind of humanize Scrooge.
You make him more relatable.
Exactly. And because he's relatable, his change of heart has more of an impact.
That's a good point.
Like we can see the potential for good in him even before the ghosts show up.
I like that.
We're not just watching a villain become a good guy, we're watching a complex character evolve.
Okay, that makes sense. Speaking of the ghosts, the script mentions that this adaptation popularized the whole tradition of watching Christmas movies on TV,
Oh, really?
like in the US.
Yeah. And it's kind of amazing how one film could have that much influence.
It is. How did that even happen?
Oh, it was incredibly popular when it came out, both in the UK and the US.
Okay.
And then as more and more American households got TVs,
Yeah,
A Christmas Carol, it just became a staple of holiday programming.
people loved it.
Oh, they did. It was one of the first films to really capture the magic of Christmas on screen.
So people wanted to watch it again and again.
Exactly. Every year.
Huh. So it's like this film set the stage for all those holiday TV marathons we see today.
Right. It's hard to imagine December without, like, A Christmas Story or Elf playing on repeat.
Totally. I guess we have this adaptation to thank for that.
In a way, yeah, it created this demand for heartwarming Christmas content, and it paved the way for other holiday classics to become, like, these annual traditions on television.
Wow, but it's not just about nostalgia, right? There's something about this adaptation that keeps people coming back, even after all these years.
Oh, absolutely. It goes beyond just being a good Christmas movie.
Okay, what do you mean?
It taps into something deeper. Those themes of redemption, forgiveness, second chances.
Yeah,
Those are universal. We all have regrets, things we wish we'd done differently.
that's true.
And Scrooge's journey, it shows us that it's never too late to change, to make things right.
You know, I always kind of thought of A Christmas Carol as a simple morality tale, like be good or you'll end up like Scrooge.
I get that.
But now I'm seeing it's more about hope than judgment.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing our flaws and trying to be better.
It's a reminder that even the grumpiest, most miserly person, they can find redemption.
And that's a message that resonates with everyone, no matter who you are.
Exactly. It transcends age, culture, background.
What about the visual elements we talked about earlier? The script mentions the shadows.
Oh, yeah, and the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come scenes?
Right, they said those were groundbreaking for their time.
They were.
Do you think those effects still hold up today?
I do.
Really? Compared to, like, modern CGI and stuff?
I'd argue they're even more effective today. Modern CGI, it can be too polished, too perfect.
Yeah.
It almost takes away from the raw emotion.
Mm.
But those old school shadow effects, they have this raw, almost primal quality that really gets under your skin.
It's like they tap into our deepest fears, the things that go bump in the night.
Exactly.
Speaking of things that are a little bit scary, some critics have said that Sim Scrooge,
Yeah.
he's actually more terrifying than some of the more, like, overtly evil portrayals. Do
Interesting.
you think there's any truth to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Really? Why?
Because Sim Scrooge, he's not a monster. He's a human being who made some terrible choices.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him so frightening, because we recognize ourselves in him.
Oh, wow.
We see the potential for darkness within ourselves.
That's a chilling thought. No wonder this adaptation has stuck with people for so long.
It's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
It's a film that stays with you long after the credits roll.
And it's a film that invites you to watch it again and again.
Why is that?
You catch new details, new layers of meaning each time you watch it.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion?
Haha, exactly. Or maybe, like, unwrapping a Christmas present, each layer reveals something new and surprising.
I like that.
But let's bring it back to the listener for a second.
Okay.
What's one thing you'd like them to take away from this deep dive into the 1951 A Christmas Carol?
Oh, that's a good question.
What's the one nugget of wisdom they should carry with them?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway it really is that idea that it's never too late for redemption.
Redemption, yeah.
Scrooge, I mean, he shows us that even the most hardened heart,
Right.
it can soften.
Yeah,
Even the most selfish person, they can learn to be generous.
that's a powerful message, especially around the holidays.
It is.
It's so easy to get caught up in the commercialism,
Oh, yeah.
all the presents, the shopping.
Absolutely.
But this film, it kind of brings us back to the true spirit of Christmas,
Exactly. It's about those connections, those moments with loved ones.
showing kindness, even to strangers, appreciating those simple things.
You know, it's interesting how this adaptation,
Uh-huh.
it balances those darker parts of Dickens' story
Wait.
with that feeling of hope.
Right.
Like, it doesn't shy away from showing the poverty,
Yeah.
the inequality, the harsh realities,
It doesn't.
but then it also gives us this vision of, like, a better world.
It's a delicate balance, and they really pulled it off.
They did.
I mean, they show us the consequences of Scrooge's actions,
Yeah,
all the suffering he caused.
right. But we still get those glimpses of his humanity,
Yeah.
those vulnerable moments. They make
Ultimately.
that whole transformation believable.
That's what makes it so powerful.
And it's those glimpses, that's what makes Scrooge so relatable.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we all have those Scrooge moments, those times when we're selfish
We do.
or greedy or unkind to others.
It's human nature.
It's a reminder that we're all capable of both good and bad,
We are.
and that we have the power to choose.
We do.
To choose which path we want to take.
Exactly. That's what the film is all about.
So it's not just a Christmas movie. It's a story about, like, the human condition,
I think so.
about our capacity for darkness.
And light.
And it's a story that still resonates today
It does.
because it speaks to our deepest hopes.
And fears. Absolutely.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about the history,
Yeah.
that amazing performance by Sim,
Definitely.
the filmmaking, the message of the story,
It's all connected.
and even its influence on, like, pop culture and holiday traditions.
It's amazing how one film can have such a lasting impact.
It really is.
It's a testament to the power of storytelling.
That's true.
How a good story can stay with us, even long after we've seen it.
It's like those stories become a part of us.
They do, in a way.
And it reminds us, even
Yeah.
those stories we think we know,
Uh,
like even A Christmas Carol,
mm.
it can reveal new things,
Oh, sure.
new layers of meaning.
It all depends on how we engage with it.
That's a good point. So, what do you think? Should our listeners revisit this 1951 A Christmas Carol?
I think so.
Like, watch it with fresh eyes, maybe see something new?
Absolutely. Pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
The nuances of Sim's performance, how it was all filmed,
Right.
and really think about that timeless message.
And just let yourself be swept away by the magic.
Exactly. Allow yourself to feel all those emotions.
Sounds good to me. Well, on that note,
Yes.
we'll wrap up our deep dive
Into the 1951.
into the enduring legacy of the 1951 A Christmas Carol.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is, and we hope you enjoyed this journey as much as we did.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.